Chapter 1. Your life matters. Your life matters. Any healthy person being told those words will agree with them, except for any nihilist of course, though as soon as their life is in danger, 99% of them would probably then claim to agree as well.
No, please don't kill me, please don't, I don't want to die, please don't kill me!
So while it's maybe nice to be told by a stranger that your life matters, it's not something that you had to learn, but rather something you already knew intuitively. You know your life matters because it matters to you. Sometimes though it's interesting to look beyond intuition and ask why things are the way they are, even if we already know them to be true. So why does your life, or anyone's life for that matter, have value? You are uniquely you. You're the only you there is, has ever been, and ever will be. You have beliefs, desires, and perceptions, a memory and a sense of the future. Your experience is an emotional one, consisting of pleasures, pains, fears, and much more. You possess a sense of your own continued existence as a psychological being, and you have preferences, welfare interests, and the ability to have things go better or worse for you. Many of these attributes, such as feeling pleasure or pain, depend on sentience, the capacity to have subjective experiences. These attributes are what elevate you above from being a mere thing. Not something, someone. Not a means to an end, a resource for others' use, but an end in and of yourself. This is why you, and everyone else, matters and have moral rights. These rights mean you should not be killed, harmed, or exploited, even where it benefits others. Violating your rights, such as the right to consent, autonomy, and indeed your continued existence, is therefore an immoral act. And as a collective, we seek to protect each other's rights through our laws, our religious teachings, and the lessons we teach our children. Protecting these rights has not been easy though. Throughout history, groups have denied the inherent rights of other groups for morally irrelevant differences. The colour of one's skin, the sex or gender identity they were born with, who they choose to have consensual relationships with, the religion they follow, the place they were born, or what language they speak. None of these things change why we matter, but people have still faced oppression for them. To ease the conscience of the group who is doing the oppression, they point only to the differences in the other group, and ignore all similarities. Chapter 2. Who else matters? You might think you aren't guilty of this kind of arbitrary discrimination, that you respect the moral rights of all who possess them, but let's go back to who possesses them. We listed some of the things that give your life value. The key thing, of course, is your sentience, which is the ability to have subjective experiences. Desires, welfare interests, an emotional life, that sense of your existence, etc. This was what we said makes you a someone, and not merely something without moral rights like a rock, a chair, or even another living organism like a plant. There is one group though we all too often do not think about who possesses some or all of these qualities. Our evolutionary cousins, the Earth's non-human animals. Like us, they are sentient beings, capable of subjective experiences such as pleasure and pain. Like us, each one is an individual with a unique psychological experience. They share many of the same desires and emotions we do, and will even fight to protect their lives. They meet all of the main criteria to be considered valuable, i.e. to matter, morally speaking. To be clear, as I can already hear objections, there are two categories we can put someone into when we say they have inherent moral value, and the animals will fall into the latter. The former would be the one most of us humans fall under, moral agents. We can make moral judgments, and thus can be held morally responsible for our actions. This is why we have the laws and the teachings I mentioned earlier, to hold people accountable. A non-human animal like a lion is of course not going to hold off on killing and eating you, no matter how illegal you make it. So why grant them moral rights if they won't reciprocate them? Well, they would be categorized as moral patients, which is someone who cannot make moral judgments, but can still be harmed or benefited. This doesn't just include non-humans. This would include infants and people with severe cognitive disabilities. Being a moral patient is enough to be granted moral rights, and therefore non-human animals should be granted them, unless one of two things is true. Either the concept of moral patient is false, and it is acceptable to harm infants and those with severe cognitive disabilities, Or else there must be some other morally relevant difference between ourselves and the other animals. I'm granting you the benefit of the doubt that you agree harming an infant just because they're not a moral agent is unjust. Basically, I assume anyone watching this video is not a psychopath. So that just leaves option 2. And I'm not going to force you to waste your time trying to look for that morally relevant difference, as that exploration has been exhausted by thousands of other people already through an argument called Name the Trait. The argument has even been formalised for any of you watching who might be into propositional logic. Here's one example on the screen if you wish to test its soundness. Common traits offered might be soul. If a human can be shown to have no soul, is it okay to farm them for burgers? Intelligence. Can I turn stupid people into nuggets? They were bred to die. Can I kill my own children if I only have them for the purpose of killing them? You can hopefully see how the search for a morally relevant trait quickly falls apart, but by all means, test yourself with it if you wish. Chapter 3. So what now? Animals matter. Their lives matter because your life matters, and they are like you. You, hopefully anyway, are treated like someone, but they are still treated as something. Completely objectified to the point that we've had to spend a whole YouTube video outlining why we should even care about them at all. Knowing though that we should care about them, what does that look like? We currently exploit and kill so many animals, we can't even accurately put a number on it. Coming back from that might seem daunting or even impossible, but it starts so simply. Just like with ending the oppression of other groups, you only need to acknowledge that their differences don't strip them of their value, and begin treating them the way you would want to be treated if you were in their shoes, or perhaps in this case their hooves. We just live our lives choosing not to harm or exploit them, just as we already do towards one another. Most importantly, we have to stop supporting industries that commodify and kill other animals. Stop eating them, stop wearing them, stop breeding them only to have them be put down in shelters. Stop testing on them for some new cosmetic or other frivolous pursuit. In short, if their lives matter, we have to act like it. Because if their lives don't matter, neither do ours. And they do. All of them do.
You see, I heard the screams of my dying father as his body was ravaged by the cancer that killed him. And I realized I'd heard those screams before. In the slaughterhouse, their eyes stabbed out and their tendons slashed, on the cattle ships to the Middle East, and the dying mother wail as a harpoon explodes in her brain as she calls out to her calf. Their cries were the cries of my father. And I discovered that when we suffer as equals. And in their capacity to suffer, a dog is a pig, is a bear, is a boy.
The other animals humans eat, use in science, hunt, trap, and exploit in a variety of other ways have a life of their own that is of importance to them apart from their utility to us. They are not only in the world, they are aware of it and also of what happens to them. And what happens to them matters to them.
We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby, even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable. And then we take her milk that's intended for a calf, and we put it in our coffee and our cereal.